Tahsin. I'm from Lekhapora Online, and today I'm going to be discussing with you the differences and similarities between the IELTS reading, academic reading module and the general training exam. Okay, so before I get started, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, Lekhapora Online, and also share this video with your friends. So, the IELTS academic reading and general training exams are similar in content, but different in format. So, let's say you are required to sit for your IELTS exam for something, and then you go online to register, and then you notice that there are two types of exams. So there's academic reading and then general training. So how do you know which one to choose? So after this video, you will for sure understand the difference between these two, and whether or not you should take the general training exam or the academic reading will be much more clearer to you. Okay? So the format for both of these exams are exactly the same. You have 1 hour, you have 3 sections, and there are 40 questions. And again, 1 hour, it's all at once. You can't take any breaks in between. You can't do 30 minutes and then take a 20 minutes break and then do the other 30 minutes. That's not how it works. The whole 60 minutes is, you have to sit in all at once, okay? And there are 3 sections. So there are 3 sections. It doesn't mean that there are 3 passages, okay? I'll talk about this more in the next few slides, okay? 40 questions. So these 40 questions are of different types. They can be MCQs, they can be, I mean, they're not only, like, if I say they can be MCQ, doesn't mean all 40 are MCQ. It means, I mean, I'm trying to say is that there are a mix of questions, okay? And from these, you might get MCQs or flowchart questions or choosing headings and so on. So I have a whole series about the types of questions to expect in the IELTS module, reading module. So you can watch that whole series to get a deeper understanding of how to solve this kind of questions. And in that series, I actually show you example questions. I share some tips with you. I also tell you what skills are required for each type of question. And I also share these answers with you and how I would solve them so that you can understand the process of solving those types of questions, okay? So if you want, you can watch that series as well. Now, the registration process is also the same, so it doesn't matter if you want to register in the general training or the academic module. The process will be the same. Okay. So for general training, it evaluates your English usage on an everyday context. Okay, so it can be for immigration or for employment. So a lot of countries like the UK, USA, Ireland, New Zealand, and Australia, and a lot of different other countries. A lot of other countries also require you to take this exam if you are applying for immigration to their country. And also for employment, some job placements also require this general training module. So that your job application can be processed. Okay. So for general training, you're required to demonstrate that you'll be able to understand and handle social or work interactions in the language English. So because, let's say you're applying for a job and they ask you to take this exam. So why would they do that? They're doing that so that they are able to understand whether or not you will be able to communicate with your co-workers, with your colleagues, or other people in the office in English, okay? And also social interactions. If you go to a different country and then you're applying for immigration, you should be able to talk to other people in English, because English is a widely recognized language. So in a lot of different countries, English is recognized. So this is something you should, whether or not you'd be able to use this language to communicate with other people socially or for work purpose. Okay, so that's the main idea of general training exam. For academic reading, it's quite different. So they will check whether your English proficiency is appropriate for an academic environment. Okay, so let's say for undergraduate or postgraduate, you want to apply to a university of your choice, and you're doing that so that you can get your bachelor's degree or your master's degree and so on. So so they're going to check whether or not your English is good enough to use it in an academic environment, whether or not you'll be able to read stuff in English, because in most universities abroad, they actually have all their reading materials in English, their lectures talk in English, and you have a lot of international friends, and with them also you're required to talk in English. So it's very important that you're able to use your English proficiency in an academic environment if you are going online to study. So if you intend to go to college in an English-speaking country, then take this exam, because it will help you communicate with students, communicate with your lecturers, communicate with other people in the university. It will also test your ability to study materials in English, as I've said before. In universities abroad, most of them have study materials in English. They have, let's say, books or articles that are solely on English. So make sure you understand that you need to have that kind of proficiency in English so that you can learn things by reading those materials. And some professional and job applications also require academic reading exam. So previously I did tell you that some job applications need the general training reading exam, but some also require the academic reading. It's a rare thing, but for example, if you are to apply to be a pharmacist at USA, I know this is one of the criteria, that you need to sit for the academic reading exam and not the general training. So that's also something I wanted to highlight. Next, the main difference between these two. So the first one is the topics for the passages. They're different. They're taken from different places. And the second one, the number of passages for each section is also different for general training and academic. So topics. For general training, the topics are taken from notices, advertisements, newspapers, companies, and notebooks. They're very general, okay, and not, they don't really contain super complex words, okay, and they're just, easy to understand, if I say it in general. And for academic reading, the reading materials are taken from books, magazines, articles, journals, and newspapers. And they are closely related to a variety of academic subjects. So the subjects can be, let's say, about a new research, about how cars are polluting the environment, and so on. So they are very academic centered. Okay. Okay. So I also said that the number of passages for each section is different for reading and general training. So first of all, for academic, there are always it always has the same number of articles for reading materials. So each section has one article. So normally there's a trend that section 1, which is the first article, is actually easier than the section 2 and section 3. And the fact that I'm saying it's easier because that's what the students said, that when they were sitting for the exam, they found that section 1 article was easier than section 2 and section 3. Section 2 and 3 had more complex words, and the questions were a little bit more tricky. So that's something that a lot of people say. But for each section, there's just one article. Okay. And for general training, the number of articles varies. It's not the same. So unlike academic reading, so section 1 can have 3 short texts. So up to 3 short texts, it might have 2 moderately sized texts, or it might even have 1 big text. So it depends on the paper, okay? Section 2 always has 2 text passages, and section 3 has 1 long text. Okay, so that's the difference between academic and general in relation to the sections, okay? Now, marking. This is another difference I want to highlight. So for marking, general training candidates have to answer a larger number of reading paper questions correctly to receive the same band score as an academic candidate. Okay, so what this means is I will show you a more detailed view here, as you can see. So this is a table that I got from Wikipedia, and over here it shows the breakdown of the marks along with the band score. Okay, so if you're taking the academic reading exam, right? So for getting band 9, you have to get 39 or 40. Whereas if you're taking general training exam, you have to get 40. Okay, and for, let's say you want to get 8, you can see for general training it's 37 to 38, whereas for reading exam it's 35 to 36, which is actually less than general training. Okay, so the main reason for this is that the general training questions are less complicated than the reading exam. So if you get let's say a 36 in general training, then that's considered 7.5. But if you get a 36 in reading score, that's considered 8. So this marking scheme basically shows how the IELTS have decided that the reading score for general training will be, when compared to the reading exam, academic one, will be considered less because the general training questions are less complicated, and it's actually easier for you to score more in general training than in academic. Okay, so that's the reason for this discrimination, and that's why you might wonder which one is actually easier. So the thing about these two types of exams, if let's say I say that I think the general training one is easier, but then someone else might say that they find the general training one harder than the academic reading one. So it's very opinion based, somewhat opinion based. So because different student finds different things harder or easier. So you can't really listen to a bunch of students and decide which one is easier or harder. But since you've seen the marking scheme already, the IELTS Center themselves kind of imply that the academic reading exam is a little harder than the general training one, and because of that, the academic reading one has the mark is you have to get a less. For general training, you have to get a higher mark to get a better grade. So when compared to reading, academic reading. So that's what the IELTS Exam Center is trying to imply, that it's easier to score in the general training. That's why they put the same band score for, over here, as you can see. For 7, they're using 30 for academic, but then they're using 34 for general training. So what they're trying to imply is that it's easier to obtain marks in the general training one. Okay, so that's the basic idea. But it doesn't matter whether you don't choose your exam based on which one is easier. You actually need to decide which one your application needs, whether or not you're applying to university, whether or not you're applying to for immigration. So it doesn't really matter that one is easier than other, right? And so that's the end of the video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want more videos like this, or if you think that there was a difference or similarity that I didn't mention in this video, then you can comment down below. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked this video.